Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends at Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. This is a special edition of the Flying Geese crochet blanket for babies. It's designed by Hello Stella for Yarnspirations. Without further ado, let's take a look further into today's project. This video has sound alerts added. When you hear this sound, it will be your signal that the segment is finishing up. Press stop and crochet the instructions and then press play again to continue along in your project. So today's project is actually pretty easy when I think about it, and we have to think about this in multiple stages. So we have the strip of triangles, which are the flying geese going across, and then we have to get that done, and then we're going to do the body separately just like you see here, and then what we're going to do is then doing the tassels just like you see it here. So it's actually a really interesting afghan, and the geese I believe only appear on one side of the project. So here's the exact sample right here. This is a small little blanket, so just so you know, it's not a lot of time commitment when it comes to doing these kind of things. So the stripe only appears on one side because on the other side it's just going in from your double crochets right into the tassel. So really you only have to concentrate on this one section. So what I've done here is that I've done a test trial just like this to make sure that I've understood it. So what you're gonna have here is that you're going to have tapestry work where the color is dragged through, but because it's such a small hook is that it hides really well. It probably hides better than any other thing. Now if I were you and you were me, I would think about the future. So if you're always ending on the same side like you are here, then I would use this as part of the tassels that are here. So you just have to, when you attach your tassels, just feed these through as well and make sure it's part of it, and therefore you don't have to worry about sewing in anything. Because what I can see from this particular point of view, because I have the sample, it doesn't look like anything has been sewn back in. I think the actual ends are being used here as part of the tassel work just like you see. So our goal here is to get the strip done first, and then we do the body, and then once the body is done we do the attaching just like you see here, and then we have to do the tassel work. But I want to show you something that's happening in the body before we begin. So you're going to notice, I don't know if you can notice it, see how it's a strip just like you see? So it's not just all straight double crochet, there is a slight change to give you these ridges, and it matches the way that it's joined here as well. So it's a really kind of a cool and neat idea. So this is tapestry crochet. Let me show you a little bit more about that. Now because of the studio lighting it's really exceptionally bright here, but I have to say I had this at a live show the other day and I didn't realize this was actually tapestry crochet until I got it home and I put it underneath the light. So you can see that the yarn strands are carrying right underneath each other just like you see here. So as these colors change, what happens is that the white here sinks underneath these stitches right in underneath, and if you turn it over you see it's not in behind either, it's right underneath the stitches, and then it carries across and then you change it back. So it's just a very simple triangle that you have to do when it comes to this. So when I was looking at it I'm like, well that's pretty neat, that's pretty it's pretty quick and easy, and then I did a sample of it and then I realized it really is that quick and easy when you go to do that as well. So what you're going to notice is that the yarn will start on the one side just like you see here, it goes in, and then what's gonna happen is that you're gonna carry it all the way across, and then you turn around and then you carry it back, and then you change the color and then you carry it back and forth, and when you're done that color ends up on the same side just like you see there. So it's actually a really kind of a neat concept. So the one side here is this, the yarn's turning around and it's nice and flat, and I would use that to attach it to your actual the rest of the project that you are doing as well. So let's take a look quickly back at the pattern once again and let's continue. So in the pattern you're going to notice that it's a 4mm size G hook and a 5mm size H hook. You'll need both. So the strip that is here is done with the smaller hook and everything else is done with the larger hook. So when we go to start this we're going to be starting off with our 4mm size G crochet hook in order to get you to play. This is really a simplistic pattern. Once I thought it was going to be more time consuming than it really was, just even doing my sample. But without further ado, I'm going to get you started. I'm going to show you how to do at least one triangle, because once I show you how to do it once, you can copy it, and because you can see how many triangles there are, you can just follow it that way visually, or you can follow the instructions mathematically as well. And if you would like a bigger blanket, just continue to make the strip even bigger and then just improvise with doing something different than with the actual main body as well. So without further ado, let's learn how to do the strip first. So let's begin today. A 4mm size G crochet hook and your Peyton's Canadiana yarn if you would like to, or equivalent to it if you wish. So let's just create a slip knot to begin, and I want you to chain a total of 22. So it's going to be nice and tight, and you're just going to chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and go all the way to 22 for me, and meet me back here in just a moment. So let's begin row number 1. So second chain from the hook, 1 and 2, go to the back hump of the stitch, the back loop, and I want you to single crochet into that loop, and I want you to single crochet into the 1 to each of the back loops all the way across. So this is row number 1, 1 single crochet in the back loop all the way across. I'll see you at the end of this row. So once you get all the way across, just turn your work. So rows number 2, 3, and 4 are all identical to each other. We're not worrying about triangles yet. We have a blank space of color before we start the triangles. So chain 1 first, and then it's just gonna be 1 single crochet in each one of the stitches going all the way across. So what I'm gonna do for you is that I'm gonna meet you at the end of row number 4. So just do this for rows number 2, 3, and 4. Make sure you chain up 1 before you begin a row and single crochet each across. So I'll see you at the end of row number 4. So now at the end of row number 4. So I'm gonna turn my work and just put it down, and then I'm gonna show you the diagram that we're gonna follow next. So on page number 2 there is a diagram just like you see right here. So in the diagram it's showing you what the triangle looks like. So what we have here is that we have empty space, which is the same color as what we're working on. Then we have the start of the triangle, which picks up just like you see here, start here, and then it carries across, and then it ends up being this regular color again. So there's gonna be 5 stitches that are solid of this color, then the triangle will start, and then 5 on the other side. Once you get started with this, this is pretty much the only time you really need to count is the first time, because then you can see the visual cues that I'll show you in order for this to actually all work out. Now being a crochet, you will notice that there will be pieces that look like they don't belong. That's just the way crochet is. That is natural, and that's something that you have to accept. So from a distance it looks really decent, but when you're close up like you are, it seems very obvious. So what I want us to do is that I want you to grab your first color, and we're going to begin to bring it on, and I'm gonna show you how to drag it across and then start these triangles next. So let's begin to start one of the triangles. Now the triangles stack on top of each other, so as soon as you finish one you start another one. There's no gapping spaces in between. So what we're going to do is to start a row is that we're going to chain 1 with this color, and then we're going to insert our hook into the very first stitch, but don't go any further. I want you to grab another color, don't make any knots, and just lay it up over top of the hook like so. This will become part of your tassel in the end. And so then put the regular yarn back into your hand, and when you go to pull through the stitch you're going to trap the blue in position underneath, and then single crochet as normal. So it'll be sticking out the side of the stitch just like you see there. So remember what I told you, that there was 5 single crochets in a row, but we're gonna have to change color midway through number 5 to be ready for the 6th. So let's begin to do that. So we insert our hook in, and we keep this blue laying down on top, and then we just go right up over top of it and single crochet. So we're trapping it underneath the stitch, and we do that again. So this is the 3rd box, and this is the 4th, and this is gonna be the start of the 5th. So in order to change color, so we go in, and this is the 5th box. Now these loops that you see on top is the loop for the next stitch. So in order to have a solid color stitch you have to consider it before you actually finish a stitch. So you go in and you pull through, okay, with this color, and you drop it, and you bring up this other color that we've been working with and finish that stitch, so that the first 5 are the solid color, and now this is the top of the next stitch, which will be in blue. So we're gonna keep this straggler, okay, this from the ball, continuing to go underneath the stitches like you were with the blue, and you're gonna go for 11 in a row. But what we have to do is that we have to keep our tension. So it's a little loose here, so just pull, keep our tension, and just do 11. But the final 11th one is that we have to consider switching back again. So let's just count. So we've got 3 and 4 and 5. See up, I'm going up over top of that other one. This is 6 and 7 and 8, 9, and this is 10 and this will be the 11th. But you can't finish the 11th because it won't be ready for the next one, so we drop the blue and we pick up this cream one once again and finish it, so that you have 11 blues that are now ready. And you want to pull on the blue just to keep its tension, and you want to drag it then to the other side. So just continue to go. So there should be 5 left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we just kind of pull on it a little bit, so you can see that you just had the cream color to the blue to back to the cream, and you see that there's no stragglers on either side. So let's turn our work and do the next level up in the triangle, and let's talk about that first. So now what we need to do is that we need to get the triangle to be smaller every time we go past it now. So the first blue and the last blue are going to be eliminated in this row, and they're going to make them cream, and then the rest of it are going to stay blue, and etc. So we just have to look for it. You don't need to count, you just look for the cues on what to do. So insert your hook in if you've taken it out. So what you need to do is put your yarns coming from behind the project to make it easier for yourself, and I want you to lay the blue down on top of the line like you normally would have done to hide it, and I want you to chain one with the cream, and then going into the first stitch and making sure you cover over top of that blue, just single crochet. If there's too much hanging out at the back end here, just pull on it, it'll pull it nice. And what you want to do is that you want to fill in the creams as you go, and you want to make sure that that first blue one is also cream. So going in, continuing to lay the blue down on top and hiding it. So you can either count your stitches, but I don't see the point when you see the cue of the triangle that is about to change over. Okay, so we're now, the next one is your first one of blue. We're gonna make it cream, but in order to finish this stitch, right, we have to change it to blue first, because this is getting it ready for the next stitch that is coming for you. Okay, so we just made that first blue one now into a cream, and now we're gonna drag that cream over. So we're gonna make the rest of these blue, except for the very last one. We're gonna stop one early and change it back to cream in order to keep that triangle moving in the direction of to the point, I guess you can say. So you don't hear me counting, you don't need to count, you just gotta look. So we have how many stitches left? We have 2 blues left, and so we're gonna do one more blue, but we don't finish it, we want to change it over. So pull up that cream one once again, finish it, and then start bearing that blue in all the way to the other side. So we've just eliminated one blue on both sides in this row to make the triangle look like it's more to the point, and then come right to the end, and then that's that row right there. Okay, so let's begin to do the next row. So let's turn our work. Let's put the yarn strands in behind the project to start. It's just easier. Make sure you grab the yarn strands leading to the ball and not to the one that is the loose one for the tassel. So make sure that's out of your way first. So continuing along with your cream color, okay, get that blue up and ready, that you're gonna bury it right away, and then get that cream into your hands. You do get yourself into a rhythm with this once you get started. So you're gonna chain one with the cream, and now just continuing to bury that. So in this row here, what's gonna happen is that another blue is gonna turn cream, and this blue on the other side is gonna turn cream, and so we just have to make the cream go longer. And again, continuing while we bury the blue. Remember, if the blue gets it loose at all, just give it a little bit of a tug. Don't reef down on it, because you don't want to mess with your edges. And you continue to go along. So this is the last cream in the cream, and then the first one of the blue is going to be cream, but we have to change over once again. So grab up the blue and start burying that cream now going forward. So we're gonna stop one stitch early before the blue changes to make it a cream. So this is how these triangles are made. They're actually pretty simple. So you see you got 2 blues, so this is gonna be the last time it's blue, but before we can finish that stitch we have to get it back to cream so it's ready for the next row stitch. and then start bearing that blue into position. Give it a tug just to get tension on it, and then the rest of this row is all cream. So you're gonna go all the way to the end and then turn around, and we are going to go back and we're going to eliminate another blue on both sides of the triangle in order to keep that point moving forward. So turn your work, keep that blue in behind, chain up 1, and continuing to bury that blue as you go. You can see me kind of just pulling on tension if I need to. You become used to these kind of ideas. And tapestry crochet is a lot easier than the bobbin work. So the next one is the first blue, so we're gonna convert it to cream this time, and we have to drop that one now, get the blue ready to go. Put the cream down on top, and now we're gonna go blue. So we're gonna go blue all the way to the second last blue. So you can see that point is getting pointier more quicker. So you got 2 left, as you can see. So the next one is gonna be cream, but we don't want to finish it. Okay, we want to get ready for the next one and then start bearing the blue back again. And so the remaining is all going to be this cream color. Okay, so let's continue along. So we're just coming to the edge, so turn around. Okay, if these are tangling on you, just make sure that you can just turn your project if you have to, if it makes it a lot easier for you. Okay, so let's put the blue into the back end here. Let's chain up 1 and let's pull that one up and get it ready. Okay, so we're gonna go in the first one, bearing that blue right away, and we continue along. So we're gonna eliminate another blue one out of the triangle once we get there, so the cream is getting further and further across. You have to pull that tension before you go too far, because if you don't, then you're gonna mess with your mind. Okay, so the next one is a blue, the first one, so it's gonna be cream this time. I actually pulled on apply that time, so it's gonna be cream, and we want to drop it, grab the blue. So the trick to remember is that you have to change the color prior to actually finishing a stitch. So then we just fill in the next ones, leaving the last blue untouched. So we're gonna change over before getting there, back to cream, pull the tension back, and then do the last one as cream and all the way across. So you'll have one more row to go before it will be the final point. Just like so, and then turn your work. So keep that blue in the back, chain up 1 and start again, and we are eliminating another blue one out. It'll be the final blues. Pull the tension if you have to. Okay, so this is the last time it will be cream. Well, actually we have to go one more. So we go into the blue for a cream, we change over to blue, we do the next one as blue bearing the cream, but we can't finish that because it's only one stitch, and then we switch back to cream. That's the only time it's a real pain if you want to say it's a pain at all. So then the next one is then cream. So in order to get that one stitch to be blue, it's a little bit of work. So now that's it. So that's all you're going to do then. This color is completely done, and what we're going to do then is that I'm just going to quickly review, do one more row with you, and it's the start of the next triangle. The triangles build up on top of each other, and then once you get all your triangles in, the last 5 rows will just be back and forth with just the one main color. In my case it would be cream, if you would like to do that. So you're gonna do all your triangles, and then the last 5 rows are just gonna be a solid color in order to match this side that you started with here. So once you get all the way done, you've done this color. So this is good. We're just gonna trim it so it's extra long. You're gonna use that as part of your tassel, and then we leave on the white or the cream color, and we turn it and we get our another color ready. And do you remember how many stitches it was in order for you to go across? It was a total of 5, if you remember right from the very beginning, and we're gonna do that next. So let's start our next color. So we bring on our next color. In this case I'm just gonna do brown, and I'll pull it from behind, and we're gonna start the next one up. So just chain up 1, insert into the first one, and before you go any further just leave an extra long tail of this color and just put it on top of the hook, and I want you to bury that color underneath so that it's ready for you by the time you get there. So we're just gonna finish that stitch, and now it's underneath, and so we're gonna do the next 4. So 1, 2, and 3, and this is the 4th, but we have to change it over for the next one. So there's 5 in the first one, as you see. So we did the first one and then 4. So we're gonna drop our cream, bring up our brown here, and it was 11 stitches in a row. So let's bury our cream as we go. So let's count those out. So 1, 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we can't finish that 11th. We have to switch it back to cream, and then bury that remaining of that color till we get to the edge, and there will be 5 in this side. So you're just gonna continue to know what you know with the triangle and make the triangle smaller as you go. So that's it for that. So you would turn your work, keep this color on the back side, and then you're just gonna take the cream, make sure you eliminate the first one and eliminate the last one of this color over here, and then your triangle will get smaller and smaller. So let me bring up my strip and we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we're gonna start another part of today's tutorial. So when all is said and done, you're gonna have all your triangles lined up. Of course this is a smaller sample. My sample is completely smaller just for tutorial reasons. You're gonna have, you can see the turnarounds on one side here. This will get buried in as you're doing the attaching. This side will become the tassels, so I'm not too worried about that now. And so once you get all your triangles in, the last 5 rows will just be single crochet all the way across so that it keeps it in balance with the very first one. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna have you do this, and then we're gonna then move on to the body of the Afghan, which is done separately, and then once that is done then we are going to join it. So this Afghan is made up of 2 sections. We're gonna do the body next, which is done separately, and then once that is done we are going to single crochet these together. You are going to notice that this body has a raised lip every few rows, so you can see it's a section here and a section, and that raised lip then makes it look like it belongs to this when you go to do the join as per the section over here. So let's learn how to do this. You're going to retire your 4mm size G crochet hook and get your size H 5mm to begin the next part of this task. So I'm only gonna show you a small sample because the stitch work is just double crochets and half double crochet in there and a back loop only, but we're gonna just start and let's not confuse you too much. So to do this pattern you need to chain a total of 93. So just chain as you normally would, and what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna do a smaller sample with you just to demonstrate what the rows look like, but you're gonna go all the way to 93 for me and meet me back here in just a moment. So let's pretend I have 93 on here. You're gonna go 4th chain from the hook, so count it back. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you want to double crochet in the back loop only of the 4th chain, and you want to double crochet that, and you want to work across your chain in the back loops only of just 1 double crochet each. So please do that all the way for row number 1. So now that you have row number 1 done, you're gonna turn your work. So rows number 2 all the way through 7 are going to be the same thing, and you're gonna want to record these rows as you go. So as you get them, just check it off. So write the numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, spare a piece of paper or on your pattern, and just check it off as you go. So you need to chain a total of 3 to begin. That counts as a double crochet, and you're gonna do 1 double crochet in each of the stitches across. So just 1 double crochet each. This is row number 2, and you're gonna want to do this for rows number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you got a long way to go in order to get there, and then we're gonna do something slightly different in the next 2 rows after that, and then you repeat everything that you know again from rows number all the way from 2 to 9. But just concentrate on rows 2 to 7 right now with just a double crochet. Don't forget that turning chain in the end is part of it. So go into the turning chain and then turn your work and move up. So this is row number 3. So chain 3 to begin, and then 1 double crochet in each all the way across. Please do this all the way now for rows number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I'm back, and I have all the way rows from 2 through 7 done, and now I'm gonna turn my work and do row number 8. So the repeat pattern is gonna be rows from 2 to 9. So to start number 8, what we're going to do is that we are going to do 1/2 double crochet in each of the stitches. So chain 2 does not count as the first stitch, but you want to go right down in below, and you're going to 1/2 double crochet then all the way across. Okay, so 1/2 double crochet in every stitch all the way across for row number 8. I'll see you at the end of this row. When you get to the end of row number 8, turn your work, and we're gonna do row number 9. So if you're new to crochet, every stitch is made up of 2 strands of yarn. You see that on the top just like this. So if you go in the front strand, the first strand, that's called the front loop, and if you go into the other strand that's furthest away from you, it's the back loop. We want to concentrate on the back loop this time around. To start this one, you're going to chain 2, and into the same one right below it, you're going to go into the back loop. So dive over that one and get into the back loop only, and you want to double crochet. This is gonna create the ridge look. So go into the back loop of each one of them all the way across for a double crochet, and you're gonna see that it's gonna start creating that raised lip, and it's just such a slight thing. It's more of a visual thing than anything, and it's really quite desirable. So what you need to do is that this is the end of row number 9, and you're gonna repeat rows number 2 all the way through 9 again, and you need to continue to repeat rows 2 through 9 until it's 28 inches approximately long. So, and you want to end so that you're finishing up on row number 9, which is what I'm finishing right now. So you're just gonna continue to repeat all the way from 2 right here to 9, and then go 2 to 9, 2 to 9, and then get your measuring tape and measure out 28 inches, and make sure you finish on row number 9. And then what you're going to do is that you're just gonna fasten off at the end of row number 9, and then begin working on something else as we go. So let's continue to do that. I'm gonna leave that with you, and then I'll see you back here, and we're gonna do something else in today's project. So now I'm gonna begin to show you how to do the join. So we're using this regular cream color again. Use the larger hook just like you see here, and what we're going to do, and yours will all be stretched out and nice and ready to go. This one here is very tight because of the way that we did it. So we're gonna start off in the corner and just join it, and we are going to then go into the very first stitch on the other one just like you see here. So you see that we had raised edges here. This is just a single crochet join, so you're gonna pull it through here and then just single crochet it just like this. So then you come back down onto the strip, go right through, and then go right through to the next one over, so the next panel, and then just single crochet it together. So going right down and go through. So if you have everything pinned together, what happens is that you will have it matched completely as you go. So what I'm doing is I'm burying in this loose end as I go. So I'm going in, it's very much like the tapestry crochet. I'm just leaving it on top of the stitches so it gets buried up underneath. So I'm gonna let it fall out of the way in just a moment. So then I'm gonna let it just come up underneath, and I'll deal with that later. So you just continue to kind of match them as you go all the way across. And what I would do when you have colors that are coming up over top, see how the blue's coming up over, go in and making sure that blue's gonna stay up over top of it and to the next one, and then that'll help bury that into position as you go across. So don't be afraid to improvise. So we have another blue one here, so just go right up over underneath it and just go to the other side and make sure that gets stuck underneath, and then that'll become better hidden as you go. So just single crochet yourself the join and just watch the edge, making sure that one is not gonna finish earlier than the other. And if you have to improvise and just kind of stretch one, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So do that and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So once you've attached everything together just like you see here, we're going to do edging on this side and this side. We're not doing any edging up here or down here. That's all tassel work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start on the top edge. See in the direction of the arrow? So I'm gonna start on the top edge and we have 3 rows to do. So what we're just gonna do is that we're gonna start on the top edge, and you can already see that there's stitches there. Just fasten on with the slip stitch, chain 1, and just double crochet in, or sorry, single crochet in. And what you can just do is just bury the color up underneath the straggler, up underneath like you did with the tapestry. And you're just gonna work your way across, and this part is really quite easy. And what you're going to do is that when you get to the actual side of the body, you're just gonna have to improvise and just make it look good. There's nothing that is gonna tell you if you're doing it wrong, other than it'll look like it's buckling. So you have to just make sure that you just lay it down once in a while, make sure you get your rhythm in order to get the stitch count right. Okay, so it says that there's gonna be 112 single crochets working up the side if you want to count it out like that. I've never had much success in doing that. I always get antsy pantsy and then I rush it. So just make it look good as you go all the way across. Okay, so just coming up. So we're about to jump into the side of the panel here, and I'm just gonna go in there, and this is the straggler that was left over from the very beginning. So I'm just gonna go into the side and just make it look good. So I might just put 2 single crochets into a side of a post and then 1 into the actual join. So then the side of the post, 2 single crochets, and then the next one is right into the stitch. Okay, so you're gonna do that all the way across, and then you're gonna turn around and then single crochet yourself all the way back, and then just do it one more time. And this is just really getting established. So if you lay it down, this should not be doing any weird twists or anything, and then I will see you at the end of this row. So just make it look good, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So once you get all the way across, it should still lay flat just like you see it here. You just may have to stretch it out a little bit if you had to, and then just turn your work, and then you're just gonna work across the rows. So I've been burying the yarns as I've been going, and so I can safely just cut those out because I know I've been burying them as I've been going. I'm not gonna worry about the bottoms yet as far as the tassel work, and all I'm just gonna do then is going back 2 more times. So just chain up 1 and 1 single crochet across it, and then turn my work, chain up 1 and 1 single crochet back again. So there's a total of 3 rows here on the edge, and then you're going to turn your work, and with the right side facing up again, just start on the other side and go back and forth 3 times, and then we're gonna start the tassel work after that. So here we have it, and we're now going to show you the fringe. So what we have here is that I've done my 3 rows here of the border. I have not done this side, just as full disclaimer for you. So every 2 rows is gonna be fringe when you have it. So there's always gonna be 3 strands. Here's the secret. What makes this look good is that 1 strand of the 3 is the color that you're working with. And what you want to do is this 10 inches of string that you need, or yarn. And what I would do is probably cut 1 sample, and then using the other colors that you were working with, you want to just match it. Okay, so I would use 1 as a strand, and I would do a whack at the same time as far as cutting that, so that make sure that you have enough. And so every one of these fringe are going to have the main color. So if you had like this color, then we could just do mix and match your colors that you have here. So you're gonna have 3 strands that work it out. So you're going to go into every other one here. So let me just show you what it looks like here. So what I want to do is that I want to use this string, and I want to bury it underneath. So I'm going to attach my tassel by just coming up underneath, and I folded the 3 in half, and I just pinch it and I pull through. And then what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna open it up with my fingers, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide that other blue also through it. the blue that was just hanging there. And so this one will have 4 tassel or 4 strings going through it instead of 3. And that's fine because it's awesome, right? And then you just pull on it. So therefore you don't have to do any weaving of the ends, just like so. And then what you want to do is get them all into position and then take your scissors and just cut evenly all the way across. So just to recap, so you're just gonna take your colors just like you have, and you're gonna take a main color and you're going to grab some other colors that you've been using in your Afghan in order to make this work for yourself. And you want to do a total of 10 inches. So I'm just gonna eye it up right now, and you know, you can eye it up if you wish as well, and then you just can trim it. You fold it in half and then you just skip over one and go to the second one over, and if it's one of these, just feed it through. So just come up from underneath, pull through. I like to use my hands when it comes to this. Just push it through. And what I would recommend is that you really kind of balance these colors. So I used 4 different colors here. So you will kind of want to balance the fringe in order to go. And of course if you want to make it more narrow, you just make another set here and then you can just feed it through. So maybe it's every one. I think you'll have to make a judgment call that says evenly spaced. So I would think, in my point of view, is that I would probably just make it look good, right? So then we're just gonna go across, do a 3. It's more than 10, but I don't care about that. So just fold it in half, and I'm gonna go to the one right in between these and fill it in. So you really want to get that border of that to be nice and full of this fringe. And it really does look good on the sample too, like once it's all done properly. So the tassel is the fringe is approximately 5 inches long. Make sure you don't leave any of the fringe behind or it won't work, and just pull on it just like you see here. And then you can fill that in, and again, once you're done, just take your scissors and just safely just trim this section here. So this is how to do the Flying Geese Afghan or blanket. It's really quite small. It's very decorative, if anything. Maybe great for a rocking chair, maybe even a nursery, or anything that you would have that is very accessory oriented as far as like your decor. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Yarnspirations as well as the crochetcrowd.com. Special thanks to guest designer Hello Stella for designing this for Yarnspirations. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.